Have you ever just sensed the vibe of a room the moment you walked in? Well, today we're going to unpack that feeling using this really cool metaphor, your very own inner radio. Okay, so let's start right there. Think about it. You walk into a room, and before anyone even says a word, you can just feel it. Maybe it's this unspoken tension in the air, or maybe it's a wave of total calm. We've all been there. But what is actually going on in those moments?
To really get our heads around that feeling, we're going to use a powerful little metaphor. I want you to imagine that you, and yet everyone else around you, are basically a walking, talking inner radio.
So the idea goes like this. Every single one of us is a complete transmitter, and we're constantly broadcasting a unique frequency out into the world. And that signal? It's a direct reflection of whatever's going on inside of us at any given moment. Now, the quality of that signal has a name. It's called coherence. Coherence is that state of inner harmony. It's when your mind, your emotions, and even your body are all aligned, all on the same page. When you're coherent, you're broadcasting a really pure, clear frequency.
This basically gives us two different states to be in. On one hand, you've got coherence. That's a clear signal that feels calm and relaxed. But on the other hand, you've got non-coherence. That signal is just full of static, all that noise caused by stress, anxiety, and tension. It's literally the difference between a perfectly tuned radio station and one that's just fuzzy noise.
So, okay, what happens when these inner radios of ours actually interact with each other? Let's take a look at how this plays out when two different transmitters end up in the same room. So the moment, literally the second, two people enter a space, their frequencies start interacting. This isn't something we choose to do. It happens instantly, on a totally subconscious level, as our signals start to either vibe with each other or kind of push back. So what happens when two coherent people meet up? Well, it's pretty awesome. Their clear, harmonious frequencies just resonate beautifully. It creates this shared atmosphere of calm and understanding. Communication just flows, the energy feels super constructive, and get this, it actually makes each person's individual coherence even stronger.
But let's be real, that's the dream scenario. What happens in the much more common situation when a clear, coherent signal bumps up against a broadcast that's just full of static and noise? Well, when coherence meets non-coherence, this kind of tuning process kicks off. The clearer signal naturally tries to influence the noisy one, and this can go one of two ways. It can lead to influence, or it can lead to overwhelm. All right, in the best case scenario, influence wins out. The strong, stable frequency from the coherent person can actually have a positive effect on the other one, helping them to calm down and kind of retune their own inner radio. You know that person who's just so chill to be around that they calm you down? That's this in action. But then there's scenario 2, overwhelm. Sometimes the static coming from the non-coherent person is just so loud, so intense that it disrupts the clear signal. Their chaotic frequency throws the coherent person completely off balance. And this explains perfectly why you can feel absolutely drained after being around someone who's super stressed, even if you barely said a word to them.
Okay, now let's scale this whole idea up. What happens when you go from a simple duet to a full-on orchestra of transmitters all in the same room?
In a group, something really interesting happens. All of those individual frequencies start to merge. They combine to create a single collective broadcast, like a shared energy field for the entire room.
And the frequency of this big collective transmitter? It's basically the average coherence of every single person in that room. This is exactly why the entire mood of a party can shift the instant one person with a really different energy, whether it's good or bad, walks through the door. The whole group radio just retunes itself. So in this big room full of signals, who has the most influence? Who's the one that's really conducting this orchestra of different energies? And here is the absolute key insight. The person with the biggest impact isn't the one who talks the loudest. And it's not the one with the fancy title. No, it's the person who is the most internally coherent. Their clear, stable signal just naturally sets the tone for everybody else.
So let's bring all this back home. What does this really mean for you in your day-to-day life and all your interactions with other people? It all boils down to this, really. You are never just a passive receiver of energy. You are always an active broadcaster. And that means the real key to having more harmonious interactions isn't about trying to change other people. It's about focusing on your own coherence.
And this is really the ultimate takeaway, isn't it? By putting your focus on tuning your own transmitter, by working on your own inner harmony, you automatically contribute to the harmony of the entire space you're in. So,
As you go about the rest of your day, as you talk to your colleagues, your friends, your family, here's a simple but really powerful question to keep in the back of your mind. What frequency are you broadcasting right now?